Ladies and gentlemen, what sets apart those who succeed under pressure from those who fall apart, it's not just talent, and it's not luck either. It's mental toughness. People with strong minds aren't born with it, they develop it through habits, daily decisions, and consistent effort. Today, I want to talk to you about 5 key habits mentally tough people use. These aren't magical solutions, and they aren't limited to a select few. They're choices anyone can begin to make starting right now. People with mental strength don't play the blame game. They don't go around saying, it's because of this or it's their fault I'm in this position. No, they take ownership of their lives. They know they may not control everything that happens to them, but they always have power over how they deal with it. They realize that their future is something they can influence. It's not easy to take that kind of ownership. But the truth is, it's the only path forward if you want to become who you truly can be. We live in a world filled with distractions, reasons to quit, and people eager to shift blame. It's simple to fall into the trap of blaming others. Maybe your parents didn't encourage you enough. Maybe your manager is holding you back. Maybe life itself hasn't treated you well. But those with mental toughness know a very important truth. Blame is a dead-end road. Blaming your past or pointing fingers won't change your current situation. It won't solve the issue, and it surely won't help you move ahead. Blame only holds you in one place and keeps you from progressing. Think back to a time when things went wrong for you. Maybe you failed at something important, maybe someone hurt you, maybe it just felt like the weight of the world was on your shoulders. In moments like that, it's tempting to say, it wasn't my fault, or if only this had gone differently. But here's the truth. What's done is done. What counts now is how you choose to respond moving forward. Take Oprah Winfrey as an example. Everyone knows her name, but not everyone knows her story. Oprah was born into extreme poverty, faced terrible abuse growing up, and was raised in conditions most people would say were nearly impossible to rise from. Her life could have easily been one marked by victimhood. She could have looked at her circumstances and felt defeated. She could have blamed the people who hurt her or the environment she was raised in, but that's not what she did. Oprah made the decision to take full control of her life. She became responsible not only for her thoughts and actions, but also for her future. Even when the world doubted her, even when every odd was against her, she chose to write her own story. She didn't let the pain, the trauma, or the hardship shape who she would become. She worked day and night, refusing to let her past steal her future. Today, she stands as one of the most influential voices across the globe. Taking responsibility doesn't mean pretending your pain doesn't exist or that your past didn't happen. It means understanding that regardless of how bad things were, you still have the power to direct your life. You can choose to guide your future, not as someone who is defeated, but as someone who's building a better path. So now, ask yourself, are you still blaming your past? Or the things beyond your control? Are you allowing those mistakes, setbacks, or situations to determine where your life goes next, or are you taking charge? Mentally strong individuals don't sit around waiting to be rescued. They're not hoping for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, or the ideal person to come fix things. They fully accept that the only person who can truly change their life is themselves. And that's often the hardest thing to face, looking at your situation and saying, this is up to me. But inside that truth is a powerful strength. When you stop blaming others and stop making excuses, you grab hold of your future. Sure, you can't control everything. Yes, life can be unfair and unpredictable, but mentally tough people understand that how they react is what makes the biggest difference. That's the main gap between those who achieve and those who remain stuck. So I'll ask once more, what will you do now? Will you let the past keep running your life? Or will you take control and create the future you want? The choice is yours. Every new day brings you a fresh chance to take ownership, make wiser decisions, and head toward the life you dream of. It all starts by saying, I am in charge, I am responsible. Responsibility doesn't just mean owning your errors, it also means standing tall, no matter what life hands you, and saying, this is mine to handle. That's where real power starts. When you accept full ownership, you begin to grow because you're no longer waiting for someone else to come fix your life. You're facing your challenges directly and doing what needs to be done to change things for the better. So take a good look in the mirror, own your journey, own your decisions, take full charge of where your life goes next, because only you can write the next chapter of your story. These days, there's a lot of emphasis on comfort. We're told to take it easy, avoid stress, and choose the path that feels safest. Many people think life should be all about happiness, avoiding struggle and staying within what's easy. But let me tell you something powerful. Real progress never comes from comfort. If you're serious about growing and reaching your true potential, you have to be willing to feel uncomfortable. People with strong minds know this very well. They don't run from challenges, they walk straight into them. They welcome discomfort because they know it's how real strength is built. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you did something that genuinely made you uncomfortable? I'm not talking about minor inconvenience. I mean the kind of discomfort that shakes you, makes you second-guess yourself, and forces you to dig deeper than you thought possible. Maybe it made you sweat. Maybe you were scared. But deep down, it stretched you. It tested your limits. It's easy to avoid all that, to wait around hoping things just work out, to dodge the pain and stick to what's safe. But here's the truth. Each time you avoid a challenge or choose the easy way, you steal a moment of growth from yourself. Growth never comes from ease. It comes from the hard places, the unfamiliar territory, and the moments when you face what scares you. Take a look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes to ever play basketball. It might surprise you to know that he did make his high school varsity basketball team. Imagine that. The same man who would go on to win 6 championships and become a sports legend was once told he wasn't good enough. Many people would have stopped right there. They would have accepted defeat and walked away. But not Michael Jordan. He used that failure as fuel. He spent countless nights practicing harder, training more, and pushing beyond his limits. He didn't run from the pain of rejection, he embraced it. Jordan could have let that one setback define him. He could have said, "This isn't for me," and walked off the court for good. But he didn't. He took the rejection and used it to become better. Through that discomfort, he discovered his true strength. And the results speak for themselves. 6 NBA titles, 5 MVP awards, and a legacy that still inspires the world today. And it all started with a decision to face discomfort head on. That's where his growth began. That's where his real power was formed. The same rule applies to every one of us. Whenever we're uncomfortable, whenever we're tested, that's when the next version of ourselves starts to form. We each hold amazing potential within us to rise, to break limits, to create something great. But we'll never uncover that potential if we keep running away from the hard stuff. You only discover your strength when you lean into those difficult places and keep going. I get it. It's not easy. Discomfort feels heavy. It can feel scary, but it's not your enemy. Discomfort is your greatest teacher. It shows you who you are and who you can become. When you stop fearing it and start learning from it, that's when you truly begin to grow. When was the last time you did something that made you feel uncomfortable? When did you last face a challenge that felt too big, too overwhelming, but you still moved forward anyway? That feeling of discomfort you experienced in that moment, that's exactly where your growth started. Every single step you took while being uncomfortable, every decision to not give up, made you stronger. You were developing resilience, growing your mental strength, the kind of strength that separates those who succeed from those who settle for average. The truth is, discomfort will always be part of life. You will constantly face hurdles. Some may be huge, others might seem small. There will be times when you deal with rejection, failure, or even emotional pain. And in those moments, you get to make a decision. You can shrink down, you can quit. You can allow that discomfort to control what happens next. Or you can push forward. You can accept it, fuel your efforts with it, and rise above it. And if you choose that path, you'll be surprised by what you're truly capable of achieving. So next time you find yourself in an uncomfortable place, remind yourself that this is the beginning of your next level. When you're filled with fear, self-doubt, or anxiety, understand that you're standing at the doorway of something important. That's where big things begin. That's where your strength gets tested and built. Discomfort isn't proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're evolving. It means you're stretching beyond what you thought you could do. You already have greatness inside of you, but you won't uncover it by staying in your comfort zone. It won't appear by choosing the easy path. It shows up when you step into the discomfort, when you take on challenges that seem out of reach, and when you keep going even when you feel like you've reached your limit. And when you do that, when you choose to face the discomfort head on, you'll learn something powerful. You're not only getting tougher, you're becoming unstoppable. So the next time life gives you a challenge, don't avoid it. Don't turn away from the pain or the fear. Walk into it. Use it to launch yourself forward, because that's where real growth begins. That's where your strength lives. Let me talk to you about emotions. Emotions are intense, they're honest, and they can be incredibly hard to manage. Emotions like fear, anger, doubt, and frustration are part of everyone's life. And when they hit you, they can feel like they're taking over everything. They make you second-guess yourself, question your choices, and if you're not paying attention, they can even take charge of the direction you're heading in. But here's something you need to know. Mentally strong individuals don't let their emotions lead them. They don't allow fear to stop their progress. They don't let anger control their reactions. They don't let doubt freeze their momentum. What they do is different. They learn to understand their emotions. They feel them, but they don't become them. They use them in a way that helps them, not holds them back. Let's look at fear more closely. Everyone has experienced it, that nervousness in your chest before doing something new, before jumping into something unknown, before making a bold move. Fear can stop you in your tracks. It can make you want to pull back, stay where it's safe, and avoid risk. But mentally tough people don't allow fear to make their decisions. They feel it, acknowledge it, and then step forward anyway. They've learned that fear doesn't mean stop, it means go. It's a signal that you're about to do something worthwhile. Think back to a time when you felt afraid to take the next step. Maybe it was a new job, a serious life choice, or speaking in front of others. The fear whispered, "What if I fail? What if I'm not ready?" But people with strong minds didn't let that fear decide what came next. They kept going. They know fear is part of growth. It shows up right before a breakthrough. It reminds them that they're stretching beyond their limits, so they choose to walk through it, knowing it will lead to something bigger. Now let's talk about anger. Anger is a strong emotion, and it usually comes when things feel unfair or out of control. It's normal to feel it when someone mistreats you or when life doesn't go your way, but mentally tough people don't let anger decide their next move. They don't explode or make quick choices they'll regret. Instead, they slow down, they breathe, they give themselves space before reacting. Think about Nelson Mandela. He was kept in prison for 27 years, taken away from his family and treated with cruelty. He had every reason to feel hate and stay angry, but he didn't let that anger become who he was. He chose to forgive, not for the people who hurt him, but for himself. He understood that holding on to anger would only keep him tied to pain. He chose to lead with wisdom, patience, and hope instead. That's a powerful example of emotional strength. Mentally strong people know that emotions like anger and fear are real, but they don't let those emotions control their behavior. They're not pretending those feelings don't exist. They're not robots. They just don't allow emotions to steer their actions. They feel everything deeply, but they act wisely. They choose to move forward even when emotions are heavy. Now let's talk about doubt. Doubt is quiet. It doesn't shout like fear or flare up like anger. It sneaks in and tells you that you're not good enough, not ready, not capable. And if you listen to that voice too long, it can stop you from trying at all. It can hold you back from opportunities you were meant for. But mentally strong people don't let that voice win. They hear it, but they don't agree with it. They keep going. They trust that growth means doing things even when you're unsure. Imagine someone starting a new company or pursuing a big dream. They feel doubt. Maybe they think their idea isn't strong enough. Maybe they're scared of failing. But instead of giving in, they keep working. They use that doubt to push harder. They remind themselves why they started. They keep their eyes on what they want, not on the fear of falling short. Mentally strong people realize doubt is part of moving forward. It's that small moment before something changes. It's that moment where you decide to believe in yourself even if nobody else does. Learning to manage emotions doesn't mean pretending they aren't real. It means understanding them and choosing not to let them drive. It means being the one in control of your life, not your fear, not your anger, not your doubt. It means thinking before reacting. It means choosing your future over your feeling. So ask yourself, when was the last time you let emotions take over? When did fear stop you from speaking up? When did anger lead you down the wrong path? When did doubt convince you to quit before you even began? We've all been there. Everyone has moments when emotions take the lead and decisions suffer. But you can change that. You have the power to choose better. You have the power to handle emotions with strength. That doesn't mean ignoring them. It means not letting them run the show. It means using emotions as a guide, not as chains. When you learn to stay calm, think clearly, and act with purpose, life opens up in new ways. You gain confidence, you make smarter choices, you move through hard moments with more courage, and you realize that fear, anger, and doubt don't have to hold you back anymore. We spend so much of our lives worrying about things we can't control. We stress over opinions, situations, or unexpected problems that we simply can't fix. It's easy to fall into the habit of focusing on everything that's outside of our hands. But people with strong minds don't waste time or energy on what they can't change. They pay attention to what they can do something about. They take responsibility for their choices, their attitude, and the effort they put in. Even when life surprises them or things get hard, they still get to choose how they respond. That's where their strength lies. So ask yourself, how much time have you spent worrying about things completely out of your control? Probably more than you'd like to admit. But here's the good news. You can change that starting now. The opinions of others, the things people have said about you, and the challenges that seem to stack up against you, we all deal with them. It's human nature to worry about what we don't know, to feel afraid of what we can't see coming or control. But the truth is, all that worry, all that fear, all the energy you're spending on things you have no control over, it's going to waste. It drains your strength, slows you down, and keeps you trapped in place. Mentally strong people understand something important. They know their energy is best spent on the things within their control, and they won't waste even a little bit on the rest. Think about J.K. Rowling, a name nearly everyone recognizes. She's the author behind one of the most famous book series of all time, Harry Potter. But long before her success and popularity, she faced rejection. She was turned down by 12 different publishers. That's right, 12 times someone told her no. 12 times she was told her story wouldn't work. Now think, what would most people do in that situation? Many would walk away. They'd feel defeated and believe it was a sign they weren't good enough or that the dream just wasn't meant to happen. But J.K. Rowling didn't waste her energy on things she couldn't control. She didn't stay focused on the publishers who rejected her. She didn't allow the judgment of others to define her future. She chose instead to stay focused on what she had the power to change: her own writing, her dedication, and her unshakable will to keep going. That choice made all the difference. Just imagine that for a moment. She lived in a world that repeatedly told her she wouldn't succeed, and still she pushed through. She ignored the rejections, and she didn't let the barriers stop her. She kept her mind on what she could influence, her effort, her determination, her faith in what she was creating. She released the things outside her reach, like other people's opinions and decisions, and placed her full energy into what she could do herself. Because of that choice, Harry Potter came to life. Today, millions know her name, and her books have moved generations across the world. But none of that could have happened if she hadn't decided to let go of what wasn't hers to control and direct all her effort toward what was. That's the message here. When something is beyond your control, don't cling to it, don't let it rule your thoughts or fill your emotions. Don't let it take away your focus. Instead, use that mental energy on something that is within your grasp. Your choices, your attitude, your effort. These are the tools that create real change. These are the things that help you make progress. Everything else, the noise, the judgment, the fear, it's just a distraction. Take a moment to think about your own situation. Where is your energy going right now? Are you putting time and focus on something you can't do anything about? Are you letting someone else's opinion slow you down? Ask yourself if you're allowing impossible challenges to freeze your steps. Are you spending your strength on things that won't help you grow? The truth is, all of us face moments like this. We all go through fear, rejection, and uncertainty. But what separates people who move forward from those who stay behind is the way they handle those moments. The strong don't let the things outside their control determine their action. They keep their attention on what they can control, and they continue. And when you do this, when you shift your focus, you stop being powerless. You stop waiting for the world to change or for someone to fix things for you. You begin to own your direction. This is where your strength really lies. You get to decide what happens next. You get to choose how you react to each challenge. You choose how much effort you'll give and what kind of mindset you'll bring to each situation. And once you make that shift, you're no longer controlled by what's happening around you. You become the one steering your life. So let me ask you, how many times have you been overwhelmed by something you couldn't do anything about? How often have you let fear or doubt stop you just because the situation wasn't in your hands? It happens to all of us. We all find ourselves feeling powerless at times, when life feels chaotic and everything feels beyond our grasp. But the mentally strong don't stay in those moments. They don't let situations outside their control dictate their behavior. Instead, they zero in on what they can influence and they keep moving. Maybe you have a dream you've been holding on to for a while. Maybe you've wanted to take action, but you keep waiting for the perfect time or the right opportunity. But here's the truth. You'll never have complete control over the timing or the circumstances. You can decide what other people do or say. What you can control is whether or not you take that first step. You can decide to show up. You can give your best, even if the conditions aren't perfect. And if you do that, if you keep your energy on what you can influence, you'll start to notice that the other pieces begin to fall into place too. Things begin to shift. The path becomes clearer. Life will still throw hard moments at you. There'll still be doubters, still be challenges, but if you focus on your actions, your mindset, and your choices, you become unstoppable. Don't throw away your time worrying about things you can't change. Don't let other people's thoughts, the economy, or outside situations drain your strength. Reclaim that power. Put it toward what matters. Concentrate on your decisions, your reactions, and your effort. When you do, you'll start to see change. You'll notice improvement. But even more than that, you'll discover the amazing ability you have to build your future. You've probably heard that success isn't something that shows up overnight. And that's absolutely right. But there's another part most people don't think about. Success doesn't come from motivation alone either. We all feel motivated from time to time. Maybe you wake up feeling excited, ready to take on your day. You give your full effort for a few days, but then what happens? That feeling fades. The excitement disappears, and before you realize it, you're back at the starting line. That's why motivation isn't enough. That's why discipline matters more. Mentally strong people understand this well. They don't depend on motivation to carry them through. They lean on discipline. They commit to showing up, especially when they don't feel like it. Motivation is short-lived. It's like a wave. It crashes in with intensity, but then it slips away. But discipline is steady. It's what carries you through the slow stretches, the dull days, the tough mornings. When motivation fades and the rush is gone, discipline is what helps you stay in the game. It's easy to stay committed when things are going smoothly. But the real test, the moment that defines you, is when everything is difficult, when you're tired, when progress is slow, when you don't want to keep going. That's when discipline steps up. That's when your consistency counts most. Look at someone like Kobe Bryant, one of basketball's greatest legends. Kobe didn't reach greatness just because he was talented. He earned it through relentless effort. He was known for his extreme work ethic. While most people were still sleeping, Kobe was already at the gym. He trained at 4:00 in the morning. He spent countless hours perfecting every detail of his game. While others rested, he was grinding. That's why he became a legend. That's why his name is remembered. It wasn't random motivation that got him there. It was consistency. It was showing up over and over. He knew success is created through repeated effort, even when no one is watching. We all want success. We all want to be good at something, whether it's a skill, a career, or a personal dream. But the truth is, you won't reach those heights through one-time effort. It's not about doing something amazing once. It's about doing the right things consistently every single day. The small decisions you make daily will shape where you end up. The quiet effort, when no one is around to cheer you on, that's what makes a difference. That's where your future is built. In the discipline to keep going, in the patience to keep working, even when there's no big reward yet. Take a second to think about where you may be struggling with consistency. Maybe you started a new habit, a fresh goal, and you were excited in the beginning, but then life happened. Maybe you got tired. Maybe the results didn't come fast enough, and that spark disappeared. That's where the real work begins. That's when discipline has to take over, because discipline is the thing that helps you push past those slow days. It's what separates the people who hit their goals from the ones who give up. It's what gets you moving when you don't want to. It's what drives you when the road gets rough, when people doubt you, or when everything feels harder than you expected. And when you choose to stay disciplined, when you choose to focus only on what's in your power, there's nothing that can stop you. If you truly want to reach something meaningful, something that lasts, you can't just depend on motivation alone. Motivation will fade, but discipline, staying consistent, and the promise to keep showing up even when it's tough, that's what pushes you forward. That's what leads to real success. Success is built step by step through daily actions that many people ignore. It's the steady effort, the constant work, and the strong belief that continuing is enough, even when no one sees it yet or when the results are delayed. That's how real success is created. Being consistent isn't exciting or loud, and it usually doesn't get attention right away. But it's consistency that turns regular people into champions, into winners. It's what creates lasting legacies. It's the quiet, ongoing effort, the behind-the-scenes sacrifices, and the everyday dedication that others may not notice, but you feel deeply. It's in doing what must be done every day, even when there's no quick reward, that greatness is born. So ask yourself, are you depending only on motivation to get by? Are you always waiting for the next wave of inspiration to keep you going? Or are you building the kind of discipline that pushes you forward no matter what comes your way? Real success doesn't come from doing something amazing once. It comes from doing the right things again and again, even when no one is paying attention. It's about staying faithful to your path, remaining consistent, and believing that the work you're putting in now will bring results in the future. It's easy to feel down when progress is slow. It's easy to give up when you face difficulty. But the ones who keep going, who show up even when there's no applause or reward, are the ones who succeed. They're the ones who create something that lasts. It's not short moments of brilliance that change everything. It's the repeated disciplined effort over time that creates the biggest change. You have the ability to shape your future. You can decide who you want to become and the kind of legacy you want to leave behind. But that can't happen if you rely only on motivation. You must build discipline. You must build consistency. In the end, it's not the sudden, random effort that leads to success. It's the steady, repeated focus on your craft. Every single day, year after year. When you promise yourself that you'll stay consistent no matter what, you're already walking the road to greatness. And no one can stop you then. Being mentally strong doesn't mean you don't feel fear, worry, or frustration. It doesn't mean waking up every day feeling perfect or powerful. True mental strength is seen in how you react when those feelings hit you. It's about how you act when fear tries to stop you, when self-doubt tells you that you're not enough, and when frustration makes you want to quit. Everyone feels these emotions, even the strongest people. But the real difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is in their ability to rise above these feelings and keep going. Mental strength is created during hard times. It's built in those moments when you don't feel like trying, when it seems too painful, and when every part of you wants to walk away. It starts with accepting responsibility. Many times, we fall into the habit of blaming others or our situation. We blame the economy, the people who let us down, or the things we can't change. But mentally strong people don't spend time blaming. They don't look for excuses. They take full responsibility for their choices, their actions, and their results. They understand that life isn't always fair, but what matters most is how they handle the difficulties life puts in their path. When you take full responsibility for your life, you take back your strength. You stop waiting for someone else to give you a chance, for life to become easier, or for the right moment to appear. You take full control of your future. You begin to understand that what you choose to do today will shape the life you live tomorrow. And that's where true power comes from. You have the chance to decide how you handle the cards life has given you. Then there's the matter of discomfort. Let me tell you, personal growth doesn't happen in ease or comfort. It happens when you go beyond your safety zone, when you try new and difficult things, when you place yourself in situations that force you to grow. If you want to become stronger mentally, you must welcome discomfort. You need to face the difficult stuff, the things that make you want to step back and hide, because that's where your strength grows. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone. It's easy to keep doing what you're used to. But if you really want progress, if you really want to transform your life, you need to step into the uncomfortable places. Ask yourself, how often have you grown by staying in your comfort zone? How many times has doing the easy thing helped you reach your full potential? Not often. But every time you push past what feels safe, that's where growth begins. That's where your mind, your body, and your spirit begin to adjust and strengthen. Welcome that discomfort and use it to push yourself forward. Now let's talk about emotions. Emotions are powerful. They can lift you up or bring you down. One moment you might feel unstoppable, and the next you might feel like breaking. We all experience fear, anger, sadness, and doubt. We all go through moments when we feel overwhelmed or like giving up. But being mentally strong isn't about avoiding those emotions or hiding them. It's about learning how to deal with them in a healthy way. Mentally strong people don't let emotions control what they do. They don't let fear stop their progress. They don't allow anger to push them into bad decisions. They feel those emotions, but they stay in control of their actions. They decide how to respond. Think about Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. If anyone had a reason to be filled with hate, it was him. But he chose not to be bitter. He chose not to let those heavy emotions guide his actions. He forgave. He led with kindness, with calmness, and with understanding. He didn't let the pain of the past shape his future. He mastered his emotions, and because of that, he helped heal an entire nation. And that same strength lives inside of you. You have the ability to guide your emotions instead of being guided by them. You have the power to choose how you respond. But you must make that choice on purpose. Now, let's focus on what you can control. Everyone faces difficulties. Everyone deals with things that are beyond their reach. And yes, it's frustrating. It's easy to get stuck thinking about what others say about you, how others treat you, or how unfair life seems. But mentally strong people know that they can only control their own thoughts, their actions, and their effort. They don't waste time or energy on things they can't change. Instead, they put all their focus on the things they can influence, their own mindset, their choices, and their personal growth. The moment you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you free yourself. You stop giving your energy to things that don't serve your purpose. You take your power back. You begin to take charge of your thoughts, your actions, and your destiny. So stop putting your attention on what you can't change. Focus instead on what's within your control and see how things start to shift. And finally, let's come back to consistency. Remember, real success doesn't come from doing something amazing just once. It comes from showing up over and over again. It's about putting in the work every day, even when it's boring, even when no one notices, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Mentally strong people understand that results come from discipline, not motivation. It's about showing up even when it's painful. It's about keeping promises to yourself, even when it seems like progress is slow. Success is built on small, steady steps taken again and again over time. So stop waiting for the perfect time or for everything to feel just right. Just keep showing up, do the work, stay consistent. These 5 habits, owning your choices, stepping into discomfort, mastering your emotions, focusing on what's within your reach, and staying consistent are the true foundation of mental strength. They can truly change your life, but only if you put them into practice. They take work, they take determination, they require you to push through difficulty, but you get to decide, are you ready to develop unstoppable mental strength? Because it begins today. It begins now, with the decision to take charge, to keep going, and to never give up. This moment is yours. Make it count.